Good evening. This is HorseRacingNation.com handicapper Jared Horak. This is our video feature race of the week. This week's feature race for Saturday, April 6th. It's going to be the 11th race from Aqueduct, the Grade 1 Wood Memorial. 3-year-olds, they're going to be traveling 9 furlongs on the main track. Once again, in this video, I'm joined by my HorseRacingNation.com and DerbyWars.com colleague, Ryan Patterson.
Jared, we have 2 undefeated horses in this race, and the biggest difference between them is that one is 4-5 and one is 4-1, with Verrazano being the 4-5 favorite.
Well, definitely, he's undefeated. He's been invincible so far.
Undefeated and unchallenged.
Yeah, definitely, and then they would like to have him get a challenge, I think, before the Derby, and we'll see if that can happen in this spot. Now, breaking from the inside post, Chris and the Capper going sprint to route. He should show some speed. Always in a tiz, putting blinkers on. Another one that could show some decent early pace. Verrazano is going to be up on that pace. And then maybe from the outside post, Freedom Child.
Right, Always in a Tiz joins us from that Oaklawn contingent that looks to be just a cut below some of our top contenders. And Verrazano, we just saw win the Tampa Bay Derby, never was asked the whole entire way. It was ridden out to the wire, and it's going to take a very special performance to beat this horse.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. He's the best of the speed horses. I think when those other speed horses get tired, he's going to inherit the lead. He's going to have probably the lead turning for home. And if he runs like he did in his first 3 starts, tough.
Right, we just haven't seen how deep his well goes. He reminds me a lot of Escondrea, who devastated this field for the same trainer a few years ago. Unfortunately, did not make it to the Kentucky Derby, but he also reminds me of another horse, and that is Big Brown, who did make it to the Derby and won it. He just looks like a man amongst boys.
Yeah, he definitely does, and he's going to be tough to beat. Not a lot of value there, but if you're looking to beat him, maybe one of the horses coming from just off the pace, they could get the right setup. El Nawi for trainer Kieran McLaughlin, and then as you mentioned, Vyjack, undefeated. He's another one that has some positional speed. Right,
Vyjack, the gelded son of Into Mischief. He may be found out by the 1 1/8 distance, I'm afraid.
He definitely might, and it's interesting to see what Joel Rosario does aboard him. He rode him for the first time last time. He rallied from 10th place. In his previous 3 starts, he was up on the pace all the way.
Right, Joel's very good at having these horses to rally at the end. He just won the Dubai World Cup, so he's obviously on a high, and maybe he can keep that hot streak going in the Wood Memorial.
A couple other horses worth mentioning. Normandy Invasion for trainer Chad Brown. Figures to take a lot of action. He was highly regarded as a 2-year-old. In the Remsen Stakes, he rallied nicely to just miss, and then he came back and he ran in the Risen Star, and he was well backed, and he disappointed, finishing 5th.
Right, that Remsen Stakes has proved to be very odd. It produced very big buyer speed figures, and as we recall, Normandy Invasion ranged up on the outside and for whatever reason hung and just didn't go by overanalyze, and he was favored in the Risen Star and didn't really show up. So we'll see what he does today. Chad Brown, as we know, is very high on him.
Well, we know that he likes Aqueduct because the Remsen Stakes was at Aqueduct at this distance. So he'll be rallying late, but he could end up falling short. He needs Derby points, so he needs to finish in the top 2 probably. Right,
the lack of pace here probably is not going to do him any favors.
That's true. What do you think of Mr. Palmer coming in from Laurel, that trouble trip where he overcame a ton of trouble and won for trainer Bill Mott?
It's hard for me to be impressed by horses that were favored and did what they were supposed to do. He won the race, but like I said, he was favored. He was supposed to do that. He's bred top and bottom to get the distance, so that's the biggest thing in his favor. And Bill Mott does not hurt.
That's definitely true. Anybody else worth considering in here, at least for your exotics?
You'll have to forgive my pronunciation of this name. I believe it's Kinzim Monarch. Like Mr. Palmer, he's bred top and bottom to get the distance. He's got top local jockey Irad Ortiz in the irons. He's moving turf to dirt, and he could come on late for 3rd, grab the trifecta spot.
Yeah, if you can get a horse underneath, if you do like Verrazano, if you can get a long shot underneath, maybe that'll help.
And that's exactly what happened in the Tampa Bay Derby with Java's War coming on at something like 35-1 to be 2nd.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Top 3, who's your top 3?
Verrazano, far and away, is the horse to beat. I'll take a flyer on Kinzim Monarch, and for 3rd, maybe take an all. How about this? Verrazano, all, Kinzim Monarch. Verrazano, Kinzim Monarch, all for the trifecta. $20 or something like that.
And if you can get another long shot in there with him,
right,
you're looking at a decent payoff. I'm going to take a little bit of a price stab here. El Nawi for trainer Kieran McLaughlin. Well, this one costs $500,000 at the 2011 Keeneland sales. He's only run 3 times. He caught a wet track in his first couple outings. Finished 3rd first time out. Then he broke his maiden. His last start was in the Gotham. He ended up finishing a decent 3rd. He's got a strong pedigree, good connections, hot connections as well. Eddie Castro gets aboard a 67% win rate with Kieran McLaughlin lately. So I'm going to take a chance on a lightly raced horse with improving numbers. And Verrazano will be my second choice. Then I'll throw always in a Tiz as my third choice, just because I've been playing him at Oaklawn, and he's been disappointing. And maybe the blinkers and going back to New York, he'll improve.
Right, and Lawway is another horse who has excellent pedigree to get the distance. And if you recall, Karen McLaughlin was second in this race last year with Alpha. Maybe he's going to win it this time around.
And I was an Alpha fan as well, so maybe he will jump up and run a big race here. And that'll wrap up our video analysis of the Will Memorial. This is HorseRacingNation.com handicapper Jared Horak. But thank you very much for joining me, Ryan, and I'm sure we'll be back.
Looking forward to some great racing.
We'll be back next week with another Derby Prep video.